Hello everyone. Today we are going to solve the CSES DP problems, and the first one is a dice combination. Let's read the question. Your task is to count the number of ways to construct the sum n by throwing a dice one or more times. Each throw produces an outcome between 1 and 6 as expected. They have given example for n equal to 3. There are four ways, right? Here could be a 1, and then in the second row there would be a 1. In the third row there would be a 1. Let's say in the first rule we got a 1 and then we got 2. In the third rule, first we got a 2, then we got 1, or we directly get a 3. So these are the possible ways where we can form a sum of n equal to 3 by rolling a dice. The input is the integer n, and we have to print the number of ways model 10 raised to 9. So we have the constraint as 10 raised to 6, and the time is 1 second, then MB, right? We have the input, we have the output. So let's first understand why this question is dynamic programming question. Now let's say we start with any number. Now let's say we start with any number n. Let's take, for example, 12. I want to make a sum 12. Now, first I will roll a dice, right? If I roll the dice, it is quite obvious that it will produce a number between 1 and 6. So I roll a dice and let's say 2 comes up. So now my problem reduces to forming a sum of 10 because out of 12, I already made 2. So now my problem gets reduced to solving 10. So that becomes a sub-problem of the problem. So this is a sub-problem. And in sub-problem, we know that it might be a DP, dynamic programming question, because we are solving the sub-problems. So that is a dynamic programming question. Now, how do we approach this question? Obviously, let's write the notes here. First, we take the input n and scene n. Right, we have it. Now, let's think of the number of ways to form each sum, right? Now, what is the number of ways that we can form a sum of 0, right? And I'll tell you later why we need to make 0. But for now, let's just consider number of ways to form 0, right? Number of ways to form 0 is 1, right? And why is that? Because you won't do anything that is also counted as a way. So you don't roll any dice and you get the sum 0. So that becomes 1 way. So to form 0, you have one way to do, right? Which is to do nothing. Now, to form a sum of 1, what will be the answer? To form a sum of 1, you'll be like, hey, there is only one way, right? Because when you roll a dice, 1 appears only one time, right? So 1 can only be formed with 1. So that also becomes 1. So now if we carefully observe, these becomes the base cases, right? This becomes the base cases. These are the base cases. Now let's take the sum 2. Now to form sum 2, I can use the numbers in the dice which are less than or equal to 2. So what are the numbers from the dice I can use? I can use 1 and I can use 2, obviously. So form 2, let's say in the first row I get a 1. So in the first row, I get 1. So now my problem reduces to becomes forming sum 1. But I already know that 1 can be formed in only one way, right? Okay. Now let's say 1 can only be formed in the one way, which is 1. So if in the first throw I get a 1, the next throw has to be. Now let's say in the first throw I get 2. So now my problem reduces to forming sum 0. Sum 0. And we already know that number of ways to form 0 becomes 1. So the total number of ways to form 2 becomes 1 which is the first method, and 1, which is the second method, which becomes 2 ways. Am I correct? 3, right? So 3, we can, the numbers which we can use from the dice are 1, we have 2, we have 3, right? So if in the first throw, I get 1, right? So the first row I get 1, now I need to form a sum. Sum has 2. But to form the sum 2, how many ways I have? To form 2, I have 2 ways. Let's say फर्स्ट थ्रो में मुझे 2 मिल, राइट? तो मेरा सम क्या हो गया? सम मेरा हो गया 1, 3 minus 2 becomes 1, and to form 1 I have 1 way, and let's say first throw में I got a 3, and now my sum becomes 0. So to form 0 I am 1 way, right, which is to not do any. So the total number of ways to form 3 becomes 2 plus 1 is 1, which becomes 4. All right. So basically, the algorithm which I'm trying to build is for every sum, if the numbers in 1 to 6, if the numbers in the dice are less than numbers in the dice, sum minus numbers in the dice, right? The sum minus numbers in dice is greater than or equal to 0. Add the number of ways, right? So let's initialize the DB array, right? So vector and DB of n is 1. Let's initialize DB at 0 equal to 1. So DB at 1 becomes 1, which is only 1. Now I'll be like for int sum equal to 2, sum is less than equal to n, sum plus plus. So any sum depends on sum minus k, where k is a number between 1 and 6. So for int k equal to 1, k plus equal to 6, k plus plus. If sum minus k is greater than or equal to 0, dp at sum plus equal to dp at sum minus k. And we have to do the modulus as well. So we have to int modulus equal to 1 e9 plus 7 equal to dp at sum, right? And I have to see out backslash. Let's test it out. Let's do it for any 3. Let's run this. Hey, okay, so that's the question. Okay, so we have 4. Let's check for some 4. How many days do we have? We have 8. Some of 20. There's 463,968 ways. Let's try to submit this now. Choose file. It's testing 20% ready. And let's see some. See you all in the next one. Bye bye.